It's the Riot Podcast. This is the Tuesday, March 21st edition. You know, now it's officially spring.
It is. You're
Yeah,
right. That was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Any changes that? Hi, Chris. Hello. Chris in the back. You're like, who's that person walking behind?
Yeah, just at the right time.
There it is. Are you ready, Isaiah, for spring?
Oh, I'm so pumped. I'm more ready for summer.
Well,
I'm over the old spring thing.
But then in summertime, we're always complaining about it's too hot and it's too much. So, like, we're getting into the sweet spot.
I'm on like 70s.
70s?
Mm-hmm.
If it can be like 70 or so, just like 70 degrees, sunshine, that's like my premier weather.
You think summer's the best season?
I think fall is the best season. But I also like the hot, so I'm for summer as well. Actually, I think it's summer for me.
Yeah, I think summer's the best.
Summer, it's between summer and fall. You could make an argument for either for me, and I would be able to. Because there's like football in the fall. I like the fall weather because it's like kind of cool but kind of warm. There's like bonfires, lots of stuff going on. In the summertime, it's like fun and hot,
Yeah.
so that's always a good time.
You can stay up.
Yeah.
Sunny out.
I think fall is not as good as summer, and it might not be as good as spring. I like the football, but when you think about spring, you've dealt with so much winter that that the spring temperatures, even though they may be the same as fall, feel better.
Yeah.
But I feel like the spring is so like much like you'll just get like a winter day so far into spring that's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah, but that can happen in fall too.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it happens as much.
All right, let's leave it at you like summer, okay?
Yeah. So,
Just
I mean,
forget the rest.
summer's the best.
Summer's
Because you know what
solid.
you never get in summer? A
Rain.
cold day. Yeah.
You're begging
Snow.
for one.
Uh-huh.
No rain.
Well, we're still dealing with a shorter podcast. We have just a couple days of this left because our Radio U and our Riot Spring fundraiser will be wrapping up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Please consider checking out RadioU.com to learn about our Radio U and our Worst of Riot podcast and how it's listener supported. And maybe you can help make a donation so that we can wrap things up and get back to our normal, podcast.
So today on the podcast, we talked about a new dating app that matches for you.
It does the hard stuff for
Does
you.
everything for you.
See, I don't think we've ever experienced state-forced, like, mandated, government-controlled things like they must have to deal with.
Not that you know
Not
of.
that you know of.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's...
But there's lizard people that are controlling everything we do. We just don't realize it.
This is a new app in China, and it is from the government. So, like, it is one where they're using their spyingness on the app and maybe making it more helpful for you.
The Chinese government is just really bad at spying. It's too obvious.
Too obvious?
It's too out in the open.
They're not even hiding
Everybody
it.
knows what's going on. They need to be more like our government and keep it secret.
We appreciate that.
We also talked about the Subway footlong pass.
Yep.
So if you're a big Subway fan, you may need to act quickly.
I bet it's probably still there.
Yeah.
They made a lot of footlong passes.
Maybe they made too many.
Well, when they
Yeah.
sold out last year, they had to make more for this year.
I
They had to
know.
make way more.
And guys, it's their own made up number, so they can make up however many they want. Well, enjoy the podcast today. We really appreciate you guys listening. Text anytime to say hi at 877-2-RADIO-U.
And we'll catch you next
See
time.
ya.
Bye.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Now, of course, March Madness. We're in the midst of it. The men's and women's tournament going on. Seen some good women's games going on last night. And have you seen this clip going around, making the rounds from CNN over the weekend? Where the host on CNN, her name is Frederica Whitfield. She had a guest on to tell her and everyone all about how much March Madness costs employers, companies.
Oh, each
every
year.
year.
Yeah, they do this every year. Not just CNN, everybody does.
This is the worst. This expert says the estimate this year is that employers lost about $17.3 billion this year due to March Madness.
In productivity?
In productivity from employees, he says, all the time filling our brackets, doing the research, and just to see the brackets get busted right into the tournament and then watching the games during work hours, that's all costing employers in lost productivity.
Isaiah, what do you think?
I think we've lost a lot of productivity around here.
Already?
Just me alone, probably.
You've cost Radio U $17 billion.
More.
Yeah.
Has to be close.
Even so, they're sure they want to go with billion? I mean, I
That's-
guess.
$17 billion.
Across all companies
Yeah.
across the United States, which if you say
Like
it
a
that way,
dollar
it
a
almost,
company?
yeah, it makes it not even feel like it's that bad. But he does say that it's up $1 billion from a year ago. I just don't know how you estimate this. How do you, like, what are you basing this off of? Yeah,
Well, if
we're
you take the average employee and then see what the average, per hour that they should be making, and then you see, okay, out of how many hours out of the day do you think they're no longer being as productive? And so you just remove that out of there and add it all together.
yeah, but what if they still got all their work done though?
Well, then that's a question for another March Madness.
They always do.
They always do. That's right.
As long as you're getting the stuff done.
Anything important, they took care of it. I just, I feel like, we're not getting a lot of work done any time of the year, and now we just have a good excuse.
Yeah.
It is a good excuse. I feel like no matter what, you're going to find something that's going to take up your time at work. If you don't want to be productive, you're just going to be like, well, it's St. Patty's Day. I probably should prep what I'm going to do tonight.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it's Christmas. I better do some shopping. Or, oh, it's Halloween. Do I have a costume? Right now, March Madness is just a really fun excuse.
It's just one collective excuse that everybody has versus a couple weeks from now, we'll all have our own individual things we'll be doing to waste time.
Well,
You're
and
right.
that's also why there's a lot of people that are so into March Madness, and I know better. No, they're not. They're just into the break that it gives them during
It's so true.
these couple of weeks. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, the extended lunch breaks and stuff like that. That's what we really like. It's not even the basketball, because who knew about Fairleigh Dickinson a couple weeks back? It's not like you were doing research on it before the tournament. It's not like you cared that much before. You weren't following the season. So
Well, now you're doing your part to make sure all companies in the United States lose $17.3 billion this year.
Well, this is why I follow sports all year round. So I always have
Average out.
something to do instead of work.
Well, Isaiah, I guess go back to March Madness, all right?
I will be
you
over
do
there
your
watching.
Part in
Yeah,
this.
you got to research for the Sweet 16.
I got to prep all my games.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
Got a new dating app for you, and this one takes the guesswork out of it. Now,
How
I feel
does
like
it do that?
we've heard that before, but this one does it in a whole new way. This dating app is called Palm Geisy, we'll say.
Sounds good.
And it is a dating app in China where it will match single users based on background data uploaded by the app itself.
From the app itself?
Yeah, so it's like, tracking you. It's on your phone. It's got all that info off of your phone that it can pull off of there.
And then it'll automatically match
And
you
then
based on the items it took from your phone.
No swiping necessary.
Well, is that efficient? I don't know.
It sounds like it.
It is Chinese. It's like it's sponsored by them.
Yeah.
It's one of their government
In
apps.
China, government matches you. So you could just sign up for this dating app, and then you kind of sounds like have to do absolutely nothing until it'll give you your matches. And then at that point, you can kind of go yes or no. I think you still have an option to opt out of if you see somebody that you're just like, well, that's certainly not going to work. Then you can do that. But then if you agree to match with somebody, it will even set up a blind date for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isaiah, this
You
has
ready
some
for this?
possibilities.
I don't know about all that jazz.
I think it's
Wouldn't
also...
you love to bypass?
The more sponsored it is by the government, the more I think you're afraid to pass on the person. Like, if
Yeah.
you like them, you
do
just
I have to be with them?
Yes, they say you do.
Yes, you're forced to be. Yeah, for me, I feel like how would they know? Based
what do you
off
mean? They
of,
have everything on you.
yes, but how would they really know?
Well, you know how everybody is mad at TikTok for just farming all your stuff from your phone?
Yeah.
Like every app does.
Uh-huh.
They'd be taking the stuff they farmed from you and then building and basing off other people's farmed information and then saying who you might do well with.
Based off of my TikTok and my Instagram, I think that you would just try to match me with Instagram models is probably how it would go. I think it's a lot of beautiful women if I had to guess, so maybe it would do a good job.
Maybe it's not a bad idea.
But I doubt
Yeah.
that those same women are searching for people that look like me, oddly enough.
So you're saying it has to go both ways?
It has to go both ways, and so maybe my matches would be lower on this one.
So no matter what, whether it was government sponsored or just an app, you wouldn't do this.
I don't think so, no.
But it would save so much aggravation.
Yeah, but
No messaging.
yeah, but
No
Sometimes it's when people,
swiping.
they like that about,
The
finding
thrill
someone.
of the hunt.
the chemistry,
Yeah.
you build the chemistry.
Well, but why waste all the time on the app doing that when you could do it in person?
Doesn't sound like love to me, Hudson.
It
Ryan?
seems as if I'm going to find myself on some really weird dates. I need to get that vetting process before.
You just
No,
don't
the
dating.
government's vetting it for you.
Yeah, I don't trust their vetting process.
It's all government officials.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find people. They say in China that fewer people are getting married, and out of those, about half are 30 years and above. So they've kind of peaked in the marriage time, so they're having a hard time getting people together.
Did you see this? The reason that one of the reasons people aren't getting married is because China has really strict laws and codes regarding divorce.
Yeah.
And so this one guy says, marriage is like a gamble. The problem is that ordinary people can't afford to lose, so I choose not to take part.
They don't want to take part because
Yeah.
they're afraid if they got divorced, there'd be
Things could go
it'd go really wrong.
real wrong. So the answer to that, clearly, dating app that matches for you.
Okay.
That's
don't
how you
have
solve
Where
that
you
it.
don't really get to choose.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have to choose anything. They'll even
Now
come
that's
pick
a real gamble.
They're
Yep.
going to come pick you up. And they'll bring you on the date, and maybe you'll find someone special.
RadioU.com or 8772 Radio U. During the fundraiser, it's still a matching challenge. No government involved.
Oh, it's okay to match on this
That's
one.
right.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Today's a special day. Today is Subway's famous Footlong Pass Day.
Footlong Day?
Yeah, Subway is offering up for the second year in a row the Footlong Pass. Do you remember this last year?
Is that like the Olive Garden pass or one of those?
Kind of. It is. Here's what you get if you were to buy a Footlong Pass. You spend $15 on the Footlong Pass. In turn, you get 30 codes for 50% off one footlong sub per day all of the month of April.
Oh, I see.
So you $15 and then half off of footlongs, and so it's not like unlimited footlongs or anything like that.
No.
Just 1 month. What you're
It's
saying.
only for 1 month, and it's only 50% off.
I think they should have called it something else because by saying Subway Footlong Pass, I could pass on their footlong. So I don't know if that was the best marketing. right
Dang,
there.
that was savage from Nikki
no,
right there.
Listen, it's only because, and this is true, this is a long-standing theory. We all had our Subway era. We
Did
all
we?
had it. And
I did.
We don't have it anymore.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if because it was such a bad era or just, when you went with so much of it
Yeah.
so often that I haven't been there in forever.
I never had a Subway era, and I
Really?
intend to keep it that way.
I think it's
I
because you were
think
homeschooled.
I like Subway. I still like Subway.
I dated a gal in a town that had like literally 3 restaurants, and one of them was Subway, and that was
that
like
you would go to.
those are the only options.
Oh, I see.
And it was like, well, we're not going to Subway. That was the closest thing I ever came to a Subway era, was when you just got so tired of the other 2 places in town. You're like, well, I guess our only other option
Is
is
Subway.
Subway. But maybe if I had a footlong pass, I would have thought differently. Now, last year, they did the footlong pass for the first time ever, and it sold out within 6 hours. Today, the footlong pass went on sale at 8 a.m. Eastern. Still there.
Oh, it's still well.
Still
they did
available.
10,000 passes last year, and now they're doing 250,000
That explains it.
passes. So
That
there's way
explains
more
it.
too.
That's many more footlong passes. But I guess it's a good deal, but how many times do you have to go to Subway for this to pay for itself?
Oh, you may be wondering.
Did
Have you done the calculations?
I'm trying to do the calculations, but my
Yeah.
math is so bad. I don't know why I'm so bad at
Well,
math.
how much is like a footlong? It's
So-
more than $5 now.
So what I've got, my go-to usually
Yeah.
is like the meatball marinara, right?
Ooh.
Okay,
That's what I like.
Yeah, that's probably what I would choose.
It's about $6, which if it
Okay.
kind of half off, that's about $3. So you're saving $3.
Uh-huh.
So how many is that?
So if
5
you go,
times?
If you go 5 times, you break even.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, you could totally do that in a month.
In a month,
but think about
that's
like
a lot. That's
but
going
you're
to
like
Subway once a week.
But yeah, but if you're committing to it, like if you're committing to the Subway month, like I would go like 3 or 4 times in a week
No,
for sure.
this
But-
feels like too much pressure.
And think about it. This is the real thing, is that you might be breaking even as far as getting a deal at Subway, but you're still spending more on lunch than you would
If you pack.
if you just
If you packed it
But if
all.
you
bought
eat
at the
out every
grocery
day,
store.
you
Yeah,
eat
I
out
still
every
think you
day.
could eat cheaper
Guys,
at
right
like
there,
McDonald's.
that
But for
means-
$3 for a meatball marinara, that's a pretty good cheap
No,
lunch.
you right there saying instead of packing, that means we're getting more grown up.
Yes.
We're like, well, I could go get a meatball sub or I can just pack my lunch.
We're too adult for Subway, but also Subway feels like the working man's lunch, doesn't
Sure.
it?
It does.
It's so, I don't know. But if it's out there, and at least said this time, still available for you if you want to go. You do have to be a Subway My Rewards member as well, I believe.
Well, now we're out
Keep
again.
in mind. But if you're not a rewards member, you don't want this anyways.
Thanks for watching the worst of the riot. Since you made it this far, you might as well like, subscribe, and check out riot.radiou.com for even more riot.